What's going on, y'all? What it is. So let's go ahead and slide on these topics. And the first thing I want to discuss is Dr. Umar Johnson's niece. So basically, Dr. Umar Johnson's niece by the name of Brianna, however she pronounces her name, basically got hitched to a vanilla man. Now, of course, this revelation caused a lot of people all over social media to take shots at Dr. Umar, given the fact that he's always preaching that melanated people need to stay with melanated people and have melanated babies. Now, it seems as though that Dr. Umar's teachings and his expectations for the melanated community does not affect her ideology or her overall view when it comes to dating, because clearly she found love with a particular individual that Dr. Umar would have an issue with. So clearly he was not invited to the wedding, and a lot of people have all these memes floating out there, but I found this particular meme funny as hell because the internet is saying if Dr. Umar was invited to his niece's wedding, that he would have showed up in a full-on dashiki with the hood, and we know what that reminds us of, right? Now, a lot of people are saying that Dr. Umar is looking like a fool out here. Look at his niece. He doesn't even have his family in order. But listen, he doesn't have any power over his family. This woman is grown. She can do exactly what the hell she wants to. I don't care if it was his daughter. He has no say-so in who she chooses to love. That is her business. That is her prerogative. That is her decision. And Dr. Umar can like it or not, right? It is what it is. Now, I will say that the dynamic is different. If Dr. Umar had a daughter, and of course the daughter is living under his roof, he can definitely make it challenging for her to date anybody outside of the melanated community. But once she gets grown, it is what it is. It's fair game. She can do exactly what the hell she wants to. Now, I will say this, just judging by the photo, because there's no other photos that have come out in regards to the wedding and things of this nature. This is the only photo we have to go off of. The only person in attendance to show support to Brianna was her grandfather. I didn't see any other family members, nor did you see any other family members of the man that she married. So that's quite interesting to say the least as well. Now, to my knowledge, Dr. Umar has been quiet on this. He hasn't spoke on it, and I think that he shouldn't speak on it. I think that this is his niece's decision, and most importantly, she has the right to choose the way that she wants to live her life. And you guys know, if you follow me tight, I'm not a type of person that feels that anybody should be confined to certain spaces just to find love. I ultimately feel if you find somebody that treats you right, that respects you, that's about their business, that's mature, and is gonna hold it down, then go ahead and go forward. Because when I take a look back at my experiences, and this is just coming from an employment and friend standpoint, right? I've had people from other communities treat me better than my own people. Some of my worst managers in the employment field looked like me, but the other managers that didn't look like me, they promoted me, they believed in me, they put me in position. But this is just my experience. I know that other individuals' experiences are different. But I do know that you can run into people outside of your community that can treat you better than the ones that are within your community. And that's a fact. But anyway, I want to move on and talk about Alfonso Ribeiro, aka Carlton. So he sat down and he did an interview, and basically he talked about the negative impact of playing Carlton had on his acting career.
People run up to me saying, "Carlton!" And the name creates pain. Imagine for a second you did something. People loved it. And it ends, and they tell you that thing that you were so great at, you'll never be able to do it again. No longer allowed to act because you did that one so well that we can't see you as something else.
Now, there were a lot of fans that felt sorry for Alfonso, and like this particular fan right here who at Tyler Perry and said Tyler Perry needs to revamp Alfonso's career. I just know he could. So Alfonso caught word of that, and basically he clapped back immediately and said, I don't ever want that man to do anything for me. Now, of course, a lot of people were puzzled by Alfonso's response. And the only thing I can think of is that he knows something that we don't, y'all. I'm just keeping it all the way real, because he could have stayed quiet. He didn't have to respond. But the fact that he took the time to respond and said, I don't ever want that man to help me, there's something deeper there. Now, as far as his career being halted because he played the part Carlton, and a lot of people and executive producers of certain shows and movies couldn't see him in no other way, I don't know if he was good enough as an actor, or he was trying to go about it the honest way and he wasn't trying to sell his soul. It's either one or the two. Because when you take a look at the likes of a Jamie Foxx or Martin who played Shanae, Jamie Foxx who played Wanda, they were able to get other roles in other films other than playing women, even though I believe that's a humiliation ritual, but they were still able to branch off and do other things because they were super talented in other areas than playing women on television. And the fact that you just played this college prep kind of kid that was very prim and proper, coupled with that goofy but yet iconic dance that you did on Fresh Prince, I just feel like if he was talented in other areas, I don't think that they would have denied him. Now, I do understand that people who are talented get denied as well, but I ultimately think that he just wasn't able to reinvent himself and sway producers into thinking that he could play a more serious role. So my advice to Alfonso would be, not that he needs my advice because he's still making pretty good money hosting those shows, make no mistake about it, but my advice would be, if you feel like you're talented enough, just keep chasing your dreams, man, and I hope that the doors open for you and that we get to see you do something other than comedy. But anyway, let's transition, because you know we have to discuss Diddy, right? Because the feds are trying to get this brother indicted, and I told you guys yesterday that I don't think that they have the information that they need, because if they did have the information, I think he would already be locked up. You know, and this is why that they're interviewing the same accusers over and over and over again, just searching for something to try to stick him with, right? Because like I said, if they retrieved anything from the raids that was that profound and that astounding, Diddy would be in jail right now. So what I want to do right here is play you guys this news clip, and I also want to follow that up with a clip from Dame Dash speaking on the Diddy situation and how he feels about Diddy after he saw the video of him actually putting pause on Cassie at that hotel. And then I'll be back to give you my 2 cents and close the video.
Good morning, Kate. So this is obviously the biggest escalation since those March raids on Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami. We are now hearing that federal investigators are preparing to possibly bring witnesses in front of a federal grand jury in New York City. What we have heard is that possible witnesses have been notified that they could be called to testify. Now, sources do caution that investigators are still in the process of gathering information. In fact, they are still calling in new witnesses, and they have called in some witnesses multiple times. We also hear that the majority of the accusers who have filed these civil lawsuits against Sean Diddy Combs have been brought in for questioning, and again, some of them being called in numerous times. We hear that many are cooperating and even handing evidence that they feel could be relevant into this federal probe. Now, a spokesperson for Homeland Security did not respond to our request for comment about the presence of a grand jury, but they did confirm that this investigation is presently ongoing.
Now, Elizabeth, what are you learning about the evidence that investigators could be reviewing here?
So, as I mentioned, those federal raids that were conducted on his homes back in March, obviously a lot of people wondering what was seized. Well, we are learning now that federal investigators are in possession of video footage that was taken inside of Combs' residence. We hear that these investigators have been contacting individuals that they have seen on this footage. One person, in addition to the accusers who have filed these civil suits, is a male sex worker. That is what a source tells me, and that they have been brought in for questioning through the evidence that they feel could be relevant into this federal probe. Now, a spokesperson for Homeland Security did not respond to our request for comment about the presence of a grand jury, but they did confirm that this investigation is presently ongoing. Federal investigators. Now, when the raids first happened, we had a law enforcement source tell us at CNN that the investigation was largely based in trafficking, which is what HSI specializes in. Now we are hearing that that scope has been widened, and that investigators are really looking into all of these claims put forth in these civil lawsuits. That would include not just trafficking, but also money laundering and illegal drugs. I have a source who tells me, quote, "This is much bigger than just these lawsuits."
Well, you know, I know Puff. So it's very disappointing to see that from someone that, again, I consider my peer. Someone that, you know, I've always, because we're the brotherhood of hip hop, showed a certain degree of respect. But you can't unsee that. And it's really a shame. And what I think when I see that, number one, I got daughters.
Yeah.
So, if that was something I were to see happening to my daughter, Puff, he's dead. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And again, I go do the time, or I try to figure out how not to have to go do the time, but I don't think I could handle watching another man or any man touching or doing any kind of violence to my daughter.
Facts.
And, when I saw the apology, what I wondered is he has daughters. So I'm like, what if I were to ask him a question, it would be, what would you do if you saw a dude do that to your daughters? What should that person's punishment be? Because that's what yours should be.
Yeah.
Now, it's problematic in a big way, the apology, because just logically, he had already denied all of that stuff. So he had already said that, he venomly wasn't going to say that he ever did any of those things, and it didn't happen. And now, because it came out, he's saying sorry. But it's like now it's hard to believe anything else that he says, and it's hard not to believe anything that Cassie is accusing or alleging in the lawsuit, because I think I couldn't fathom ever having that kind of aggression toward a woman. But I thought if he should have said sorry the next day before it came out, not because it came out, and then maybe it could have been looked at a little more genuine. Now, when I see a dude do that to a girl, I think that they must have got abused. And I feel that there must be some real trauma that happened in his life. Because in order for that to be normal to him, to me, it means he must have seen that in his life as a young man, or it was done to him.
Everything was okay.
So I'm just curious to know what had been done to him where that could be considered as normal. But it's sad when you kind of have to not. It's like I've had some really close friends, and they ended up snitching. And when I find out, I cry, because that's the funeral of our friendship. And that would be a person that I really liked as a person and would like to hang out with, might have hustled with, whatever. And now I can't really fuck with them at all. They dead to me. So because I have daughters, because, to me, no man should be doing that to a woman. I saw it with my own eyes. It's not alleged. It's like that was almost the death of a respect that I had for him. And I don't see how I could ever get that respect to see him through any other lens than the disrespectful one. But, this is also looking at that. It makes me know that I'm again, with me, if you want to take me to court and say I've been the bitch, it's going to be because I yelled at you. That's it.
Yeah.
And some people that are around me might think that's the most craziest shit to be spoken to in a tone of voice and want to call that some degree of abuse. And I'm like, now that's abuse. You understand what I'm saying? And the fact that the people that are around me and in my environment, just because they're around me, know that not only could I never do that, I would never let that happen on my watch. Now, my issue is anyone that knew that was going on that still worked for that man is also a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you was watching that man abuse women and just because of a check you help cover it up or all that, then you deserve also what he gets, or the buckshot of his karma. There's no morals. So it's like, I'm curious, all these people that were around him all this time, if they witnessed that stuff, why were they still there?
All right, so you guys just heard all of that. So let me start with the news clip that you all saw. See, this is what I think, guys. This is an attempt to fearmonger. Fearmonger in regards to Diddy, to get him scared because they haven't found the information that they wanted. I don't understand why the feds are telling the news cycle so much information, because normally they move in silence, right? And then you have to ask yourself, why in the hell is a magazine like Rolling Stone doing an investigation on Diddy? When did they become the police? When did they become the authorities or the feds or anything? Why are they doing and launching their own investigation on Diddy? You know what I'm saying? So it just seems as though that they're trying all these avenues to get Diddy. Now, again, like I said, I haven't changed my stance on Diddy, but if Diddy goes down, those other YT individuals from those prominent executives that sit at the top from Hollywood's elite, they need to go down too, man. They really do. Fair is fair. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put this out here, and I've been holding this for quite some time. I have some information, but we're still trying to dot our I's and cross all of our T's. I'm hearing that Diddy has information on Obama. I'm keeping it real, y'all. Now, I'm not saying that Obama has anything to do with this, do with this indictment process, but I'm hearing that Diddy has information on Obama, and it's extremely dark and it's sick and it's twisted and it's demented. It's everything horrific that you could think of. I'm telling you guys right now. Now, I know that a lot of people have a certain type of love and an affinity for the Obamas, but let me just say that they are not who you think they are. Now, as far as Damon Dash goes, he did make some good points. I know a lot of people don't rock with him like that, but I have to agree with the things that he said within his statement. It's all facts and things of that nature. And a lot of people who let this go on in regards to Diddy, when they saw that he was attacking Kim, Cassie, or whoever, they should have stood up right then and things like that. So I agree with him 1,000%. Again, I know a lot of people don't like Damon Dash as the messenger, but he told no lies. But anyway, I'm gonna let this go right here. I want you guys to drop down in the comments and feel free to comment on anything that I discussed within this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.